Welcome in to the I-80 Boys podcast. I am one of the co-hosts of this show, Chris, the Oregon man, Vaca. This guy over here is... Woo!
Well, I guess I'm just a part-time college football podcast host, Chris, but I am fired up.
Let's go.
God damn, son. Very interesting week here.
Oh.
College football, Chris. What are your thoughts thus far, obviously?
Well, let's get it out the gate. Let's get it out the gate right away, Christian. We predicted it, caught a lot of shit for the 100th week in a row. It seems like Oregon, Christian, went out there and just handled business, put their second, third-string quarterback in by the end of the third quarter. This is what happens, Colorado, when you play somebody worth of shit. I mean, honestly, let's be honest. And hats off to Oregon, by the way. That's a good football team over there, Christian, with Dan Lanning.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. We said, hey, it was probably going to be a blowout from the rip, and look at what happened. It was a blowout. Yeah. So people said, no, there's no way Colorado's getting blown out.
No way.
Game, absolutely not. Deion, that team, blah, 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 blah. They finally ran into somebody who has more talent than them and who was, quite frankly, tired of them talking that shit and punched them right in the goddamn mouth. And... Chris, the saddest part about it is that beard of yours looks safe for another week.
Wow. I don't know how to take that. You complimented me and insulted me in the same sentence. I love it. I don't think I have to worry about it. Colorado, congratulations. You are going to be the best 5-7 team ever. Congratulations. Moving on. Let's go
ahead and get some of this up in here real quick.
Go.
Hold on 1 second. There we go.
What we got here? Oh, what we got here? Woo!
We go. We got a little bit of that right there. Taking a look at some of the games here. Let's make sure that we get boom right there. 16-0 right now for over Charlotte. We've got 6-3 LSU versus Arkansas.
Damn.
Looking real Alabama LSU circa 2011-ish.
Yeah, maybe 9-10. You might be right on actually with 11. You might be right there. You might be right there.
Whatever that game was that finished like, what was it, 9-6? Yeah. Whatever the fuck it was.
Christian, can I add in real quick and ask you a question? You're an SEC expert.
Yeah.
What do you think so far of the SEC this year?
Dog shit. I mean, just absolute dog shit compared to normal. Name one team in the SEC that stood out that is, put 2 weeks back to back together that has impressed you over a Power 5 school.
Damn it. I was going to say Kentucky before you said Power 5 school.
Yeah.
There isn't one so far. I mean, I thought LSU, they lost to a good Florida State team. I'm sure we'll talk about some FSU here shortly, but I don't know. Right now, I know the game's not over. I understand it with Arkansas, but I'm a little worried, Christian, about the SEC this year, man. I know I don't want to touch on your Bulldogs. I'm sure they're rolling up here, but they didn't look good first half, obviously, last week. Definitely didn't look like probably the number one team in the country, from your opinion. But who is really the number one team in the country right now? Is it Oregon? Is it Washington? Is it USC? Is it the whole Pac-12? I don't know.
Maybe the whole Pac-12. Jonah the Corn says A&M. No, they got smoked against Miami.
Yeah, Miami came in there and handled business. Yeah. I will say this about Miami, though. Miami's a pretty good football team this year. A&M did come out today. They beat a bad Auburn team, Christian. I think we should talk about that for a second. We got a lot of hate on this channel. I've been waiting a while. I think Christian has been too, to stick it to some of these Auburn fans when we made that video back in, I don't know if it was June. And we got laughed off the internet saying Auburn's a 5-7, maybe 6-6, potentially bowl contending team this year. And everybody downvoted that and said, we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Peyton Thorne is the new Tim Tebow. And Auburn can't move the ball on offense, Christian. I'm going to let you take over on this one.
Yeah, Auburn had 3 points on offense throughout that entire game. Their defense had to score a touchdown for them to make it even somewhat of a close game there. Auburn fans want to tell us, you said it, Chris, about how, oh my God, Auburn's going to win 10 games this year. They're going to be da-da-da-da-da. They look exactly like they look like they would struggle to win the Big Ten West. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to make it that simple for you there. They look like dog shit. to take the Rocks quote out of context there. Chris, what do you think about Auburn? Obviously, you catch more Auburn hate than I do.
Yeah, I do, Christian. You're right. Screw the Auburn man this year. I'm sorry, but we were right over here. I don't know. Like I think where it really like hit home because we didn't talk about Auburn for about 2 months, and then that Cal game come up a couple weeks ago, right, Christian? You took Auburn in a close one. I said Cal was going to pull off the upset, late night game. Auburn's got to travel out there, and it's 14-10. And Christian, you would agree, right? This was probably the ugliest game we saw all year, right? I mean, that game was just horrific. 8 turnovers. Nobody could move the ball. And we still caught flack for that. And I'm like, I just don't see where Auburn this year with Peyton Thorne, who I've over here, Chris has watched a ton of play at Michigan State. He's not a good quarterback. And he proved it today. I mean, is an Auburn man going to come in here, Christian, tell me that, we were playing at A&M and Kyle Field and all that shit? No, you guys still can't move the ball. Christian said it best. You guys scored 1 touchdown today. That was on defense. Jesus.
I mean, just god awful if you're the Auburn guy. I mean, they did that thing that I love that they do, and that is Peyton Thorne started 3 quarters, and they finally realized, hey, we should probably throw out Robbie Ashford out there and see what he can do, and he didn't do anything either. No. So, but it's funny though. A lot of people want to talk about how Georgia needs to worry about Auburn. I think Auburn needs to worry about. Just need to worry about themselves before we start worrying, before Auburn starts worrying about Georgia, Chris.
Yeah. Children of the Corn drops in here real quick. Says Oregon State needs to clean it up. Yeah, I agree. I took the under in this game. Christian took the over, and I look like a complete jackass right now. Washington State looks like actually a legitimate team right now. I mean, they did beat Wisconsin this year. Say what you will about that. But Washington State, Cam Ward, man, that kid looks good. Oregon State, the ukulele just hit a deep bomb there. Looks like they might be able to score. But this game's a shootout, Christian. Let's be honest.
Yeah, a couple score updates here for you, Chris. Georgia Tech beating the brakes off Wake Forest 20-3 right now at halftime right there.
That surprises me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty surprising right there. Here's another surprising one for you. About 6:56 left to go here. Pittsburgh is ahead of North Carolina 7-0 in the first quarter.
Ooh, upset alert. North Carolina finally going to get beat one of these times, man. They beat SC. They beat Minnesota. They're going to finally get beat. I know they had that close game against Appalachian State, man. ACC, I don't know what to think of them this year, Christian.
I agree with you, dude. I mean, that's I don't know what to think. That's the thing about North Carolina. You never know what you're going to get with them. It's like It's like watching a fucking Forrest Gump rerun every other week. Life's like a box of chocolates. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to get, as the Gumps like to say.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. By the way, Corn, I need you to call in. Let's go ahead. Somebody call in here. By God, I just need some. Mike here, from back from the stadium.
Woo! Let us know your thoughts, Mike. Mike, call in, goddammit. Call in.
I'm glad you're safe, by God. I mean, they cut the game by like 3 hours there, with the lightning delay there. I was terrified. I thought, how am I ever going to watch Nebraska barely hold on and beat? No, I'm just kidding. They took care of business against La Tech. They did what they needed to do. We'll talk about that here in a bit, but somebody's got to call in here. We gotta get all jazzed up. Come on, Corn. I know you want to do it. Let's go.
Yeah. I will say this about Nebraska. Gonna have to learn to throw the ball at some point. I mean, I don't know. I didn't pull up the stats. I know we ran the ball a ton today, and that's great. We had over 300 and some odd yards rushing the ball. That's great, but man, I'd like to see it just be able to work on some sort of passing game a little bit coming up into this Big Ten schedule next week.
Exactly, Chris. Here's another fun one for you here, by the way. Memphis 10, Missouri 7. 2:10 left to go.
I wish you would not brought that up because I lost $100 last week because K-State couldn't finish off Missouri, and you did that shit on purpose. You know what? Mizzou's the best. No. There it is. SEC's champions, Mizzou this year. They're gonna pull that victory out against fucking Memphis. Thanks, Christian. I appreciate that.
Oh my God! No, I didn't even know. I didn't even know that. Like you keep blaming me for your AARP emails over there, Chris. I'm just out here living my best life.
Yeah. bringing
Just
up Missouri
scrolling
getting beat by
scores.
Memphis. That's after I got fucking rolled on last week by Missouri, man. Thanks.
We got
Jeez.
Minnesota up 7-0 against Northwestern as the first quarter expires. Game of the week.
We got a caller coming in here.
We got somebody. We got Corn in the channel. Corn, are you alive over there?
Yes, sir.
Good. You're doing well this week, then. Last week sounded a little rough. How you doing, buddy?
I'm feeling a lot better than I did last Saturday.
Yeah, that looked rough, man. That looked rough. Did you watch the whole Huskers game? What'd you think?
It was a good game. Defense, obviously, they played lights out again to me.
Okay.
Offense, yeah, I thought it was pretty dog shit, honestly. When we get into Big Ten play, we're going to find out that Heinrich Harburg can't run the ball 20 times a game.
Thank you.
Or he's going to get killed.
Thank you.
And if Jefferson, I don't know what is Jefferson's injured.
Yeah,
Christian might be able to answer that. I'm not sure. But you did.
But they say he had
Go ahead.
a high ankle sprain. Is that what they said? I think that's been limiting him over the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it is now. And yeah, I think honestly, they're just letting, here's the good thing about it. There's good and bad to take away from this. I think the good thing, obviously, is Harburg is your quarterback of the future. The bad part of it is in these games against NIU and Louisiana Tech, you would, if I was Nebraska, I don't even care if I lose both these games. Let's take a step forward in throwing the football, right? I mean, that's really what you want to see, because you're going to play Michigan next week, and let's be honest, I think Michigan's going to force you to throw the ball on them.
They're going to beat the dog shit out of us.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I'm a Husker fan through and through, but they're going to mollywomp us, I think.
Yeah. I would agree with you, Corn. I mean, I think Christian agrees with me too. If if we can't move the ball through the air, it's going to be a problem, especially coming into the Big Ten play. We know we got Michigan, we got Illinois coming up. They got a good defense, good enough anyway. They're going to say, "Hey, let's see if Harburg can beat us through the air." It's no secret. If you guys didn't watch Michigan today, Christian and I definitely did. They look like dog shit for at least the first half of that game. I'm assuming they come into Nebraska next week probably pretty pissed off, wanting to prove a point. Not a good thing for the Nebraska man. I'm a little worried that this game's going to end up being like one of those 42, and I don't know if we can score 3 points. And that sounds terrible. Like you guys, I mean, obviously I'm a Nebraska fan, but I'm also a realist. Not looking good.
I think our defense can hold them under 30, but like you said, I don't think our offense can score.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to get real interesting real quick.
God, I was going to say something too. I forgot.
Well, I owe you a jersey. I'm gonna have to buy you a jersey, a custom jersey. May not be a Nebraska jersey at the rate this season's going, but by God, we'll figure it out when we get there.
If it's Alabama or Oklahoma, I will not wear it.
Well, I will not spend my money on those things, so don't you worry about that.
Christian will give him that. Christian will give you that TCU jersey he wore week 1.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, if we want to, I might have to burn that. Holy shit. UAB 7, Georgia 7 right now here. 14 minutes to go here in the second quarter.
Wow.
Dilfer.
Who else earlier in the day laid a big old turd?
Oh my God! I felt like there was so many people that did.
There was one more.
I had to tell Chris he might as well just go ahead and start stretching and get ready to lace him up and go learn how to kick and go down to Carolina to fucking kick for Clemson.
I told you guys, man. I took Florida. I'm so, like I said, I'm so high on Florida State, but I watched that whole game. Jordan Travis looks hurt. If it wasn't for his receivers making a couple great plays at the end, Clemson played well at home today. They did, but Clemson's season's done. They're out of the playoffs. They're 2-2 now. Yep. They're done. That loss to Duke killed them. Christian called it. But they're toast. But Florida State, though, I'll be honest with you guys. You guys think I'm joking. Florida State really doesn't play anybody the rest of the year in the ACC until the ACC title game. That's probably going to be Clemson, maybe North Carolina. But Florida State, Clemson shot themselves in the foot there with that missed kick. That was a freshman kicker they brought on today. Dabo was bragging him up, and then he goes out there and he made a couple PATs. I think he made some 30-yarder, Christian, and he comes in for a clutch kick. And that's a PAT in high school, man. He fucking put that thing wide right. And you let Florida State right into the game, and Keon Coleman makes a big over-the-top catch. That's all they did. Florida State was saying, hey, our receiver's going to beat your DBs all day. They tried that all day. Got away with one there, and Clemson's going home. Their season's over, man. I mean, Clemson's
Yeah,
toast.
I can't say much as a Husker fan because our kicker's fucking terrible.
Yeah, you're right.
He missed one 30 yards to the left, and then he doinked the PAT in. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there not a female soccer player that can kick a ball straight?
I think the volleyball team might have put up more of a fight, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus
terrible.
Christ.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Christian to go out there, a 300-some-odd pound kicker. I know he can kick a PAT. His ass is big enough. He put a little weight
Jesus
into it.
Christ. I'll look like that fucking... I'll look like the Penn State
funny
kicker from a
because-
few years back ago, right?
It's funny because Chris gave me shit before the season started about field goal kicking. He's like, I think we're safe. I think we're good.
I thought so.
This guy was great. And I'm like, it's dog shit. I mean, until you can make a 30-yarder and stop doinking PATs from, 15 yards?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. There's got to be
But-
some. Why can't we recruit somebody in the university to kick a ball straight?
I
all you
agree.
Here's
gotta do.
something interesting. I think you should get on the bandwagon with Corn. Start this on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck they're calling it now. How about you
I don't
get
do
Timmy?
Twitter.
Well, thank God somebody needs to not do it. But get Timmy Bleakroad a chance to start a quarterback. You see the way he ran that fake field goal? I mean, that guy might be your best bet.
Whoever called that play must have a giant sack on him.
No, I don't think it was Satterfield either. That was
Yeah.
hey,
But
nice
at the
touch
same
by the
time,
way.
if he would have got stuffed, we would have been like, "Why in the hell did you call that play?" That's
Watching
one
the
of them
Georgia
plays.
game, watch it. Sorry, real quick here, just to segue gears, and then we'll get back into this. Watching the Georgia game right now, the student section's got praying for Chubb right there. You know, that's pretty good to see.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Did you
Everybody
guys
loves Nick
see
Chubb.
that injury?
Oh
yeah.
my God, did
He's on
we?
my fantasy
Jesus.
team, man. That's a Georgia
Oh
boy, by
my
the way.
god! When I
Yeah.
I seen it, and I'm like, "No way that just happened." And then they replayed it real quick. I'm like, "Yeah, he's done." That
Thought it,
oh god, terrible.
Yeah.
I thought his career was over, man. I mean, honestly, same leg, everything like that.
How did he snap his leg back in place? Because when he went off the field, it was back in place and straight.
I don't
I think
know.
he just, God willing, I think he just, somehow accidentally snapped his leg back right where it needed to be. But yeah, that was
He bent
was
it
a tough
back
one.
90 degrees.
Yeah, sideways. I don't understand.
He looked like a fucking werewolf.
Yeah, it was tough.
Jesus.
He did this. He did the same thing, Corn, at Georgia. Same injury, exact same thing.
Yeah.
He took what?
Against
2 years?
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To repair
I've seen
that.
them posts on Facebook. I'm like, that's twice. I'm like,
Yeah.
but Jesus, this is one of them where it's tough to watch, honestly, because
Yeah.
you feel so bad for the guy.
Yeah.
And you can't even imagine the pain.
Yeah, great guy, by the way, too, man. He's like a really good dude, man. You don't hear him talk much, but when he does, teammates love him. Just a great guy. Everybody roots for Nick Chubb. I had him on my fantasy football team this year. I love Nick Chubb. He's one of my
He
favorite
doesn't
running
get into
backs.
trouble. He's a straight shooter.
Yeah, no, I love
Exactly.
him, man.
Yeah. They said, by the way, he's looking at a torn MCL, which if you watch that or if you
Jesus.
saw that injury, that's pretty amazing. The fact that it's just a torn MCL.
Yeah, it looks
Looked
like a torn knee in half.
Look,
is what it looks
looked like they might have to amputate his goddamn leg. Honestly, I mean, this was the Civil War era. I mean, he'd be running around out there with a wooden stump.
Yeah, that was
God bless, dude.
bad.
But
that's probably the worst one I've seen since God, what was it? 2001 Miami, Willis McGahee.
Yeah, McGahee's was bad. I'll tell you the
If
worst
you
one I
ever
ever seen was
if
Alex
you ever
Smith.
watch that one's
Yeah,
probably
Oh, yeah.
second to this one.
Watch Alex Smith for the Redskins. a
Wasn't
couple
it
years ago.
between his knee and his ankle? His leg broke in half.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Watch Alex Smith, man. Redskins about 4 years ago.
Yeah. That's one that Chris is saying are exactly right. That's one where after the play, it did not snap back into place, and the effects of that still showed to this day. I think that the big takeaway from this is if Chris has you in fantasy or you pull for Chris pulls for you at any capacity as a running back, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Husker fan, there Chris is, and we know obviously the whole thing there with the Huskers running backs, and then obviously Chris had
J.K. Dobbins.
Who'd you have? J.K. Dobbins, Nick Chubb, and then Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, all of them injured. Anthony Richardson's out this week too, Christian. I mean, fucking A, man. Let's just he's a running back too. Let's just be honest.
What do you guys think about how Grant played today?
I thought he looked good. I thought he looked pretty good.
He went back to the Grant of yore, right? I mean, last year he got back to doing what he was doing, and I thought he balled out. He did a fantastic job. I think, the offense got called with some holding penalties, which was unfortunate. But I think that's what you need to do if you're going to have a shot to beat Michigan. You need to get him going early and often at this point. I just think that, like Chris said to start off on this, I think that the passing game is going to be probably. This is what it reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of the 2021 Nebraska team, right? That 3-9 team, and not to bring up stinging wounds, but I talked to Chris before the broadcast started. I know, but let me ask you this. Year one under Matt Rule, defense is obviously leading the way for you. And offense is kind of looking like Adrian Martinez is back there, right? Again, I guess it can only go up from here so long as the defense continues to play like they are next year. I guess Corn, my big question, what do you think about Matt Rule? Obviously 2-2 on the year. Defense looks good. Offense is yet to figure it out, other than the run game. What are you thinking going forward as you guys get ready to go into Big Ten play?
I'm nervous. But as any Husker fan should be, if you're not nervous, you probably don't follow college football.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going in, and like I said, we may have won today, but I'm not impressed. The defense played, 1 through 10. I'd probably give them a 6. They need to learn how to wrap up when they tackle. That's a big thing. And just other than that, I think our zone defense is garbage. They pretty much picked us apart every time we lined up and ran zone coverage. Our defensive coordinator needs to figure that out. As for the offense, like I said, it's trash. The plays we run, it's trash. We're going to get picked apart in the Big Ten.
I got nervous there. I picked La Tech to cover, and I thought, holy shit, Nebraska is going to fuck me just because I bet on this game.
What was the spread?
It was, I think, 20.5. So I got lucky. The rain delay saved me.
Yeah. And them big boys get some hard-boiled eggs in their stomach.
By the way, Mike brings up a good point here. He's talking about the offensive line. He said need to pull their head out of their ass. Not sold on Raiola. I think the whole Raiola thing is just the reason why you keep Raiola, not necessarily because he's, I think, going to be one of the best coaches or assistant coaches in all of college football, but because the fact that obviously his nephew is still floating around right there. His recruitment is still is shut down for the moment, but I still think that within 2 years of him coming to the University of Georgia, I think he will be a Husker yet.
Yeah, I agree.
Does that kid get like 10?
Say that again.
How many years does it get? Like 10?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think what will happen is they'll probably redshirt him his first year. He probably won't play at all. And then he'll get pissed off, kind of like Justin Fields did. And then, or every 5-star quarterback that's ever been at the University of Georgia for that matter, and end up transferring out. To me, if I was Raiola, kind of like Quinn Ewers did when he went to Ohio State, I would probably go to sit a year on the bench there at Ohio State, right? Don't worry about having to worry about burning my eligibility or anything like that. And then just, get the bag that I'm obviously going to get as one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Let Nebraska get their recruiting classes. Let Matt Rule figure some stuff out. And then, probably transfer out to where I ultimately want to go, which would probably be Nebraska. I mean, that's got to be where his heart's telling him to go, right?
Yeah, I got another question. How many years do these guys get to play football? Is it 4 or 6?
Well, I mean,
depends.
Yeah, I mean, so I would say normally 4, maybe 5, but some of these cats are getting 6, 7, 8 years.
COVID year, all that other bullshit. Medical red shirt, true freshman.
You
got guys out there like Bo Nix.
I went to like a community college, and the football team there wanted me to play, and they're like, well, how many years are you in college? 2. So you get 2 years to play, and then what? Now you get 4, now you get 6. I mean, Jesus, there's a 34-year-old guy kicking for Virginia, isn't there?
Well, there's about to be a 28-year-old dropping back, throwing passes, and if they let me suit up against Michigan next week.
I mean, is that do you have to be like enrolled in college to play? Because how is that guy?
No, it's eligibility as far as sports. I played college. My years were done. Once I started, they were done. Even though I didn't play a full 4 years, they're toast then after that. So
you only got 4.
Yeah. But now though, there's the COVID year. They add medical red shirts. There's stuff like that. If you get injured within 2 games, you can re-enroll.
Well, I thought it was like within 4 games, isn't it?
It's 4.
Like
it's
if
3 or
if
4,
you,
something like that.
So does the NCAA have a max?
Well, I think they're starting to crack down on it a little bit more. I mean, I know with COVID and the NIL shit and all that bullshit and the transfer portal, everybody was being able to do whatever they wanted. But now they're starting to get kind of a little bit more strict, which is, what you'd want to see out of the NCAA, actually standing up and having a backbone for once. So, I mean, it's going to get real interesting here as to what they decide to do as far as eligibility and how long people have. And, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, you basically have NFL third-year guys that are rolling around out there playing college football.
Exactly.
Mike says, speaking of Georgia, did I see Stetson Bennett got removed from the team? Rams, I believe. Yes, sir. For alcohol. Allegedly. Nobody knows exactly what's going on with that. A lot of speculations with alcohol. There could be a number of things, but I'll give you something pretty interesting. Before the season actually started in the NFL, Stetson Bennett, by the way, was at a Georgia football game a couple weeks ago in the stands. So,
wow.
Kind of incognito, as they like to say.
Was he going to go out there and play quarterback this year?
Yeah, that's what I think, right? I mean, he didn't want to be on the field, obviously, because I don't think he wanted to take away from Carson Beck and that whole thing. But yeah, I mean, that's just it's pretty interesting right there. But so we'll see what happens with Stetson Bennett. I mean, kind of like a Johnny Manziel-esque thing, I would say. I can't 100% say it's because of alcohol. The speculation probably leans that way. They said after the national title game, they asked him, he got arrested for what was it, drunken public intoxication or whatever. The police officer said, how much did he have to drink? He just said 2 natties.
Woo! I like it though. That's a good response.
At least it wasn't a DUI.
Yeah, right.
That's a career ender.
I was going to say the way the Georgia players and coaches have been driving. Yeah, thank God that would have been 15.
Yeah,
Jesus, you can kill a guy and still play in the NFL, but DUI, man, you're done.
Yeah.
Look at Henry Ruggs; he's still sitting in prison. Yeah.
Did you guys follow the Michigan State game at all? They laid a giant turd.
They're terrible. That program don't have a head coach. Hasn't for the last 2 weeks. They're
apparently I missed something because I bet on them.
Oh God, I wouldn't. I would bet against them every week going forward.
Well, the previous 2 weeks I won.
Yeah, well, you did. There's no way you won against Washington 2 weeks ago. Washington, Herb stomped them, and they played Maryland today. Maryland. I don't know what the final was of that game, but I know the spread was like 14, I think, and I'm pretty sure Maryland came out there and mollywopped them, didn't they? Or did I miss the final?
I think they won by 25.
Yeah, Michigan State's fucked, dude. Their
defense looks so bad. I mean, like JV bad.
Yeah, they ain't got a coach now, and all that drama going on with that whole fucking thing. Michigan State is.
What's that?
Well, allegedly.
Yeah,
allegedly.
Go ahead, Christian, have this one.
Mel Tucker, former Georgia assistant, by the way, defensive coordinator. Mel Tucker allegedly sexually assaulted the sexual assault representative of the team, who, by the way, was sexually assaulted by college football players, and her job is to go around and prevent and talk to college football players about preventing sexual harassment and assault. So, yeah, that's what's been alleged there.
Ouch.
So I don't know exactly, again, the details that we're getting. Mel Tucker's alleging that the university is obviously trying to set him up. He had
that's what it looks like to me.
A $90 million guaranteed contract, and they're trying, a couple years ago, and they're trying to get out of it. So that's what Mel Tucker's alleging. The university is saying, no, that's not what we're trying to do. I don't know. I think they're trying to they're looking at this team. I mean, they pretty much have one step up from a walk-on out there starting at quarterback. The kid's not terrible, but he's probably not going to win you very many Big Ten games. And they're trying to probably get out ahead of this, is what I would imagine.
Yeah. My take on it is what Christian said, but it's set up. I mean, he got caught beating his meat and all this other stuff along the phone. She could have hung up the phone, in my opinion. I mean, it's no different than a telemarketer calling you. You hang up the phone if you didn't like it, right? Kind of looks weird to me. Michigan State probably in one of the contracts that you have as far as, paying a coach other than Texas A&M right now with Jimbo Fisher. This is a way for them to get out. I don't know the details. I'm not, but I mean, at the end of the day, Michigan State's going to win this thing because they're not going to have to pay the guy. And Michigan State's just not a good football program, Christian. They're not. He had that one really good year there.
Yeah, that's going to make them look horrible.
Yeah. Michigan State's got a lot of problems way back in the day with the gymnastics coach. I'm not going to get into all that, but I mean, Michigan State's had a slew of fucking problems the last 15 years. Anyway, I'll move on.
They have. Mike says Arkansas beating
Notre Dame game's good.
LSU at the half, and we'll kind of jump back into that Ohio State Notre Dame game here in just a second. Yeah, Arkansas up 13-10 right here going into halftime over LSU.
Christian.
Christian,
SEC, what's going on, buddy? What's going on?
SEC looking real big 12-ish right now.
Better reach down and grab the pair and turn it up.
Yeah.
I can't afford to lose 3 games in 1 week.
What are you gonna be? You gonna be homeless there, Corn? We gonna catch you live down by like one of those trash can fires, dumpster fires here next week, or what?
I picked Ole Miss to win, and apparently somebody told them that they were playing the Sisters of the Blind because that's how they played.
Well, I told you guys I took Bama. I said some
weird reason. Bama so bad. I'm never gonna. I know you do. Bama or Colorado ever.
You gotta remember, Corn. I gotta tell you something here. I'm gonna give you a word of advice, my friend, because I'm like you. I hate Alabama. I hate Nick Saban with a passion. It has nothing to do with winning national titles at Alabama. My point is, when you're betting, though, you got to throw the bias aside. It's like fantasy football. You can't draft the guy that you don't like. You got to draft the right player at the right time. And when it comes to Bama today, I said Lane Kiffin hasn't beaten anybody really. He really hasn't. It's not that I like Lane Train, but I mean, Bama's at home. They usually play well there if they play anywhere. Not that they look great today. They didn't. But Lane Kiffin just can't win a big game. That's why I leaned with Alabama today. I was with you guys. I was hoping Ole Miss was going to win the game. Trust me. I was on board with it. And then I'm like, that looks like Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss again. Shit in the bed, putting up 10 points against a team who I think Ole Miss probably got a better team than Alabama. But there was a lot of mistakes on both sides, by the way. If you guys Christian, I know, watched it, but there was a lot of mistakes. It was sloppy. That game was kind of ugly most of the
To me, Ole Miss O-line was trash.
Yeah, Ole Miss – I don't know what to say about. I don't know what the hell they didn't run the ball well enough with Judkins back there and Jackson Dart. he's had a good season so far, but like he looked almost like he was paralyzed half the time back there throwing a ball.
Yeah, it's hard to run the ball when you got a guy in the backfield every single play.
Yeah.
Well, another thing too is Pete Golding, defensive coordinator for Ole Miss that was at Bama last year. He was Bama's defensive coordinator. Let them pretty much throw running back checkdowns all game long, untouched. I mean, it was ridiculous. There was a point in the game where they hit, I think it was Roydell Williams out of the backfield for like what was it, like a 30-yard gain or a 20-yard gain, something like that. Nobody was even near him. And it's just like, look, I get it. You know, when you play Bama, you got to pick how you want to lose or how you want to really go into that game. But I mean, that's just fucking ridiculous. If you're Ole Miss, I mean, Ole Miss doing Ole Miss things still haven't learned how to play defense, and that I think that to me and everybody else should be very apparent through 4 weeks here.
Yeah, they shit the bed big time.
Looking at some other school. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I was just going there, Christian. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, looking at some other scores here, North Carolina down 14-7 against Pittsburgh. Charlotte at halftime against Florida, 7-16. Let's see here. Yeah, 40 seconds to go here in that Notre Dame Ohio State game. Is it still 0-0?
It's 0-0. I'm at 34 seconds here. This game has been a defensive game. I'm surprised so far though that neither offense. I'm really surprised that Notre Dame hasn't been able to put a touchdown drive together. They look good on some. Both teams have had some good drives, but nobody's cashing out with some points. This is it's going to be one. You said 2011 LSU Alabama. This might be the game, Christian. This might be a 6-3 game, an Iowa 5-3 win over Penn State type of thing. You know what I mean?
God bless, son. Yeah. I mean, speaking of Iowa, Penn State, let's take a look at that right there. Iowa 0, Penn State 10. Looks like Penn State might be getting ready to run away with that one if they can.
I'm a little pissed off about this. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 7 minutes left in the second. Texas is up 14-3 on Baylor. About ready to score.
Yeah, I think we kind of respected that when Texas had to play better. They almost fucked around last week against Wyoming.
21-3 now. He just ran it in.
Nice.
Texas doing what they need to do.
They're good. I don't know if their gameplay would be able to match somebody like Michigan or Georgia. They run a completely different offensive scheme to me, and I don't know how that's going to match up when they get to the playoffs because I think they'll get there.
I think Texas gets there, but I also think that's kind of maybe a good thing for Texas.
Yeah.
In a way, if you look at it as a positive, Georgia has not looked like the number one team in the country. I hate to say that, but they haven't. Michigan's a team that we talked about a lot. They haven't really played anybody, really haven't looked really good the entire year as far as like offensively. I'll say the same thing. This game here between Notre Dame and Ohio State has obviously got a lot of implications. Florida State's played in Florida State's playing in two of the probably top 5-6 best games all year. But yeah, I'm with you. I think it kind of maybe helps Texas in a way. I just don't know if Texas defense is for real. That's where I have a question mark. I think Quinn Ewers is a good quarterback, Christian and Corn, but I don't know. There's a lot of football left to be played though too. But I think obviously, Texas is going to run into Oklahoma here shortly.
Who'd you end up picking between Ohio State and Notre Dame?
I took Notre Dame in the points.
I think I took Notre Dame as well.
What was the point?
+3, which is weird at home for Notre Dame. That means if it was at Ohio State would have been favored by 7, which is crazy.
I would have took it, but Ohio State's up 3-0.
Yeah. The other big score. What's the score, Christian, of the Oregon State Washington State game? That was the one that we were really. I know me and you both bet on opposite ways.
Now
28-14. I think we both picked Oregon State to win that game.
Yeah, we did, and I took the under, and I am getting roached. If somebody picked the over, you're a smart man. I think Christian did on one of his bets.
Yeah.
You're a good guy.
I like picking Washington State so much. This time I just went against my better thought, and I took Oregon State as well. So I'm suffering with you.
Yeah, that was a.
They need to clean it up.
Yeah, Oregon State. I thought their defense was they were top 10. I thought they were a little bit better. I know I haven't played anybody, but Washington State beat Wisconsin too. So maybe I should have figured that in the equation. Whatever your thoughts are about Wisconsin, but yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling on a couple games today so far. That's for sure.
I need LSU to beat Arkansas. Then I need this Oregon State Washington State game to go over 58.5. Florida to beat Charlotte. That. Yeah, Penn State to beat Iowa, and then North Carolina to win at Pittsburgh. They're struggling, obviously, against Pittsburgh right now. So, yeah, it's not looking so good.
The same picks as you.
Yeah, it's rough out here. Can we get North Carolina to pull their head out of their ass here? Yeah. Said App State's beating Wyoming at half. Mike says Colorado State trailing Middle Tennessee at half. It's got to be devastating. You know, if you've got friends or family that are Colorado fans, please check in on them today. They got
they're gonna
riot.
Yeah, make sure
nobody fucking riot.
Yeah, make sure nobody jumped out a window or walked into incoming traffic or something like that today on the interstate. Make sure they're okay over there.
I'm surprised that Colorado fan ain't in the chat. I'm sure he's full of fucking excuses.
Oh, don't worry. I laughed him off the internet the other day when he dropped something in our preview thing. That guy's been trolling us since the fucking beginning, but
fucking stupid. Like, he's got his head so far up Dion's fucking dick. You can't even talk to somebody like that.
No, you can't. Trust me, man. Me and Christian have kind of become immune anymore to the Colorado Dion simps lately. We just kind of let him comment.
What's going to happen next when USC puts up fucking 30 on?
Oh, yeah. They will. Colorado's going to be done, man.
How many people are going to be saying, get rid of Dion, get rid of Dion?
Yeah, that'll be after next year when he leaves and his kids go to the NFL, and then he'll be coaching out some other school.
Yeah, I think that here's the funny.
Gonna get derailed fast.
Well, here's the thing: they go to the Big 12 next year, so. And they've obviously still got Shedeur Sanders. They've still got Morcani McLean. Yeah, that's how you say his name. They got Travis Hunter. I mean, they've got a ton of good players. They're going to go to an easier conference, easier schedule. I think you're going to see a lot more of what you saw against that TCU game, where it's a lot of shootout style games. I think ultimately what will happen is they'll end up exactly like TCU was last year. Right, where they end up fucking around. They have a impromptu season where they win out, and maybe they lose like one game. They get in the playoffs. They beat somebody they have no business beating, and then they get just curb stomped.
Whoa! You honestly think Colorado can make it to the playoffs
next year? Yeah,
in the Big 12, without a doubt. Big 12, no. Corn. I'm serious, man.
There's
Big 12,
no way.
Big 12. Have you watched the Big 12?
Yeah, they're losing. I mean, they're losing Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, who's gonna stop them? Cincinnati. Are we talking about UCF? Are we talking about Kansas? BYU? Kansas?
Why? Oh, so they get in on wins? You think they're gonna win the Big 12?
Well, I 100% think so. I mean, think about it this year. What did they do to deserve to be a top 15 team this year?
Yeah, I mean,
they beat the number 17 team in the country that wasn't really the top 30 or 40 team in the country in TCU. And just because Dion's the coach, they ended up getting pole vaulted up the rankings. I mean, think about this. Next year, that hype is... Well, I agree with you on that, but next year, that hype's going to be twice as big as it was this year.
Oh, God, yeah. No, he's right, though. Christian's right, though.
Even if they only get 4 wins?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're bringing everybody back, and then he's gonna revamp that roster again. He'll get kids to come in. He'll get some better offensive. He's definitely going to recruit on the defensive side of the ball. Let's be honest. Colorado's defense is garbage. They're all offense this year, but like next year, you play in the Big 12. That's perfect for them, right? Track meet every night. Fuck 60 to 60 shootouts. They'll be in every one of those games because Texas and Oklahoma are gone. Your best teams are what? Tech, Kansas, Cincinnati, Central Florida,
Baylor,
West Virginia,
maybe?
Baylor. I mean, TCU, Iowa State.
What out of conference games will they get?
I don't know the schedule, but I mean, Colorado has just as good a chance as what TCU did last year. And they might backdoor their way into some sort of play. I could see it happening. I can't believe I'm saying that. I don't want it to happen, but think about it. The Big 12 is.
Hey, man, that's that's what you think. I disagree, but hey, I
appreciate that. I will say this though. I want to ask you guys, Oregon, who to me, everybody's talking about how bad Colorado is. How good did Oregon look today? And look like they were fucking motivated for once. Oregon's going to the Big Ten next year, Christian. I want to hear your thoughts on Oregon fitting into the Big Ten. They look like a team today that looked like they could fit in very, very well and be very, very successful.
They wanted to prove a point for sure.
100%.
What's my thoughts on Oregon? I think that they're going to fit right in with it. They got a defensive-minded coach. I love Dan Lanning. By the way, if Will is watching this, you're welcome for us giving you Dan Lanning. God's gift to earth. He had them motivated. I mean, basically what he said was, they're here for clicks. We're here to fucking win a football game.
Yep.
And they came out and they wanted to prove a point, and that point was, hey, we're tired of this fucking bullshit. We're tired of this narrative that keeps kind of getting pushed down everybody's throats. And let's go ahead and get these motherfuckers off ESPN on a weekly basis. And that's exactly what they did. And I'm glad they did that.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like your take. I want to hear your take on that. I know you're a big Dan Lanning guy, Christian. Oregon looks like they, in my opinion, looks like they actually kind of have a physical team for once. And they went out there and just beat the living shit out of Colorado. They just did. They ran it down their throats. Oregon, cool thing about Oregon, man, they can run the football really well when they need to, and they can also throw it. They're one of the teams that's just not a pass-happy team. They're not a run-heavy team. They can do whatever you give them. They're good at doing either or. And I thought the defense today was very aggressive. I love seeing that out of an Oregon team. I need Will on here tonight. I thought he'd be on here so you can call in, man, because I want to hear about his Ducks, dude. That's why I rep the jersey, man. I haven't busted this thing out in like 15 years. That's why it's so small. But
Jeremiah Masoli jersey over there?
No, it's just Jackson. He played in the NFL for a couple of years. I know it wasn't Fred Jackson. I can't remember who the hell the running back was, but he was like Heisman candidate that year. I got it on sale, of course, because I'm broke. But yeah.
But by the way, Colorado's schedule, non-con schedule next year is North Dakota State. You know, Carson Wentz and Trey Lance's alma mater. At Nebraska, and then at Colorado State.
Well, perfect. Yeah. Perfect. 3 wins there, easy. And
looks like I'm wrong and you're right.
Yeah. I mean, Colorado's gonna have just a good chance next year to win a Big 12. That's all good, Corn. It's all good. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you, man. Unless you think Nebraska's gonna be for real next year, Corn. I don't know what else to tell you, brother.
I don't know. Nebraska is kind of like watching. I was gonna say Nebraska is kind of like watching Rocky. You know, just when you think, oh my God, they're out. They just, when you start betting against them to try to gain some money and try to recoup some losses here, they just fuck you 12 ways to Sunday. And I don't know. I mean, just not just from a betting standpoint, but also looking at Nebraska for what it is. If they can keep the defense and they can keep that sort of just, I would say, really good defense on par, and they can take some steps forwards, on the offensive side of the ball, get something figured out passing. I would say Nebraska would probably be favored in a lot of their matchups going into next year, right?
I would, yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's such a tough one, Christian. You talk about it. Like, it's such a tough one.
I'm still 50-50. I mean, yes, Heinrich Harburg had a great game today, I think, but can he compete against Michigan? No. So there's your answer. We're not going to beat them high-level teams.
No, Nebraska's going to struggle for the rest of the year, honestly. They got Illinois. They got Purdue, which we saw them last night play. Purdue's not a good team.
And we lost 2 running backs.
That's what I mean. We don't have a lot of offensive weapons. That's kind of the problem. Nebraska's so limited now. Even if you thought they had a lot of depth at running back, they don't now. If Grant would happen to have an ankle injury, I mean, it's Nebraska this year. I said it the other day on my short. I mean, they're fucked. I hate to say that, but they're kind of screwed. Defensively, I think the defense, like Christian said, I've been saying this the whole time too, is like they're the 2021 team. They're the 3-9 team. They're a team that's going to be in games because their defense is there. If you guys don't look, though, their defense will be out on the field next week 75% of the game. I don't care how elite your defense. You could have the 2021 Georgia Bulldogs team and their defense. And if they were on the field for 75 to 80% of a game, they don't go undefeated that year. They just don't. As good as that defense is, you got to be able to put some points on the offensive side.
Do you think we can win 4 more games and get to a bowl?
No. Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not.
Well, who do you think we might have a win against?
Corn, I'm going to flip this back to you.
Let's pull their schedule up here, by the way, real quick, and just to make
got a shot at Michigan State and Iowa.
I don't think we beat Iowa at all.
Iowa, yeah,
not at all.
Man, what happened last year?
This isn't last year, though. I mean, this offense is so bad, though, bro. This offense is putting up 28 points against La Tech and struggling, man. We don't have any depth. We don't have any playmakers outside of the running back. I mean, Christian's going to pull this up here, but I'll give it because I know the schedule just because I have to look at it every day at work. But I'll tell you this much, Cornell, and I want you to talk back, and Christian can give his thoughts. But here we have two. We're 2-2, right?
So here's my 5.
No, I don't think we get. I think we get 4, and I think we beat Northwestern, and I think we either beat Michigan State or Purdue. There you go. We're not beating Maryland. We're not beating Wisconsin. We're sure shit not beating Iowa. I'll kick it over to you guys. Let you guys take over.
I'm looking at the 3 we might get.
All right, so you got Michigan. I don't think that's a win. Illinois, I don't know. Illinois has looked like dog shit, though. I mean, it's tough to say. It's at Illinois, maybe. I mean, again, it just depends. It's at 7:00 at night. I think the Skurs do a little bit better at night games. I mean, right, Chris? I know it's crazy. We're talking about time of day that they play, but I feel like they do a lot better when they play at night. If this game was at like 11:00 and it was at Illinois, that'd probably be a flat game that nobody really wants to get up and play for. Night game at Illinois.
I have a problem.
Possible.
With Illinois, though. I think that's a loss. I do, but I'll let you keep going. Yep, I do. Yep.
Maybe. That's all I'm going to say right now. Northwestern, I think you guys beat Northwestern. Purdue, listen, and this is actually funny enough that we were touching on Purdue. Purdue's defense might be one of the most trash defenses in all of college football.
They are bad.
I mean, they're just god awful. I mean, if you go type in, pull up highlights against Syracuse and just see what Syracuse did. The quarterback looked like fucking Peyton Manning out there faking the ball to him and just ran untouched in for a touchdown and then had like a 40-yard gain on another play to end the game. I mean, just terrible. Purdue's defense is god awful. You saw that yesterday. Wisconsin didn't do anything special. They just ran the ball like they always do. Tanner Mordecai, by the way, I was right. Looks terrible as far as throwing the football.
Trash
game. It reminds me of that Georgia State game. What was it, Thursday, where every single play they just ran shotgun zone read and they get 8 yards per run.
Wisconsin was averaging 7.8 yards a rush. That's what it was.
I'm like,
but then you
ran the same play from the 20 to the 20, and then they can't stop you. So I guess keep running it. That's it.
So we'll see what happens there. I mean, again, we'll see. I mean, hopefully Nebraska can figure something out before then as far as, the offense and everything like that. Then obviously you go to play Michigan State. Here's the thing about Michigan State. Obviously they're coming off back-to-back losses. They're going to play Iowa next week. That's probably going to be a loss. They're going to play Rutgers the week after that. That's probably going to be a loss. Michigan, definitely going to be a loss. And then Minnesota, at Minnesota. I'm not super sold on Minnesota. So assuming that Michigan State comes off of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses back-to-back there, playing at Nebraska, they would have to be due for something, right? I mean, Chris?
I think it's either Purdue or Michigan State beats us. Like I said, I'm not trying to be a hater of one of those two teams that we lose to. And then you guys know my thoughts about Maryland, Wisconsin, and Iowa. I know everybody's going to sit there like Mike says, you don't think we can beat Iowa at home? No, I do. I'd like to think that. But this team just doesn't have enough. They're banged up. We got injuries so badly on both sides of the ball. It's early in the season. I just don't see this team. I hate saying that, man, but I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I'm being completely honest, man. I really am, and I hope that we win 5. We're not winning 6 games. I'll put my paycheck on that this week.
If our offense can figure it out, I think our defense can stop teams like Michigan State and Purdue and get us wins. But like everybody that's ever played sports in your life, if you can't put points on the board, it's pretty hard to win.
Yep.
Yeah. And if my if my aunt had a penis, she'd be my uncle.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. your defense
Anyways,
can play lights out the whole game, but if you can't score, you're not going to win.
Yeah,
I agree with you. That's the thing. I mean, hell, Nebraska could. That's the problem with it. Nebraska's defense could spot them. 10 points in a game basically, and still. Yep. I mean, just identically. I feel as if this.
It's almost like Iowa last year.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're very, very similar to Iowa last year. They're almost identical. They're almost identical, same team. You can't put any points on the game. They'll be in games. I'm not saying Nebraska gets blown out by anybody after maybe Michigan. I don't even know if Michigan could put up a 40 bomb against us, but I will say that going forward, you look at that schedule, there's no great offensive teams in there. And the Big Ten West is right, Chris. We talk about it, up for grabs every fucking year, but I just know enough now after 4 games to know, Nebraska's offense, it's I'm going to say the word, they're bad. They're bad.
They're mediocre.
Oh, I'd say bad. In the national landscape, I'll say bad.
Well, I mean, think about this. I mean, you're talking about, again, how many points they put up? 14 points against Colorado.
Yeah.
That was the game that if you were going to go off and put up like 40, 50 points, okay, that's the game where you start to do it. Right? And I mean, the problem is you look at what they've done against NIU and La Tech. I mean, they haven't put up more than 30 points against either one of those teams, and neither one of those teams are world beaters as far as defense. The thing is, and it's so funny because me and Chris talk about this before we came into tonight, and we've talked about it throughout the whole week, is like, I feel for you guys a lot, right? Because like as a Georgia fan, and like I've got a ton of family that's Nebraska, Huskers and everything like that. And it's like, as a Georgia fan, I think about it where I'm like, look, I'm fired up. I'm pissed off that we're not beating UAB. We're not beating UT Martin. We're not beating a lot of like South Carolina. Like, we're not playing complete games. And I know for you guys, it's like, I see it from your standpoint where it's like, dude, like, you don't get it. Like, we don't win 2 games back to back. Like, we haven't done that in like 5 years consistently. So for us, this has got to be like winning a Super Bowl. I mean, and it's fantastic. And I know a lot of people get really excited about it. But here's the other side of it. It's not just for you, Corn. This is for a lot of the casuals that, I mean, and you know it too, right? A lot of people are going to say, after beating Louisiana Tech, there's a lot of people that are going to say Nebraska's the best fucking team to ever play football. Because they don't watch other teams.
Close. Yep.
We'll be lucky to be in the top 75.
Oh, this year? Yeah. No, we're not even there. I don't even have them on my board.
Lucky.
Let me ask you a question, because this is actually a serious thing that I started thinking about in this game. If you lost the game today against Louisiana Tech, let's just say that, right? You lost either today or against NIU, but the passing offense took steps forward. Would you be okay with that?
Would I be okay with them? How?
Like, I guess, like, okay, the passing offense with under Heinrich Haarberg, because you're going to have him for like another 2 or 3 years, right? Yeah. If Haarberg came out there, you lost the game, let's just say by a field goal, some bullshit thing, whatever. But Haarberg comes out and puts up, I don't know, 400 yards and like 5 touchdowns. Would you feel a lot better about the direction, obviously, as the program, comparatively to running the ball down their throat and just knowing, hey, we're probably going to struggle immensely against Michigan? the future of the program.
Not. And that's kind of funny you say that, because if they allow that many yards and that many points, then our defense is trash. So no. But our defense ain't trash this year. Our defense is good, our offense is trash. That's the only problem. If we can get it figured out on offense, we're good. I think our defense is, oh God, I would say they gotta be, top 25 in the nation. They have to be.
Man, I would stretch it just because we haven't played any prolific offenses yet.
Well, you did.
Top 50.
You played Colorado. I mean, supposedly they're on paper they're a,
passing offense. They can't run the ball. I was so Colorado got really exposed going forward today, but I would say top 50. Yeah, I would say Nebraska's defense probably. But here's my problem. I keep talking about this, but it's like when I want to say the percentage of your defense that's so good. How much are they on the field, versus your offense? Nebraska's defense seems like they're always on the field. That tells me one thing. Well, your fucking offense can't move the ball. They're going 3 and out, 6 and out, and they're always on there trying to, you know what I mean? Like, you guys know this. You guys played football. Both of you guys did. It's like it's hard to you get worn out eventually, and you get disgruntled or pissed off when your offense has got 3 points on the board. Like, move the fucking ball, help us out a little bit, and that's where I feel like Nebraska's kind of in that spot this year. I know the last 2 games against nobodies, so I don't count those at all as far as offensive production goes. Against Michigan. Michigan's got a good defense. Let's be honest. I think we all agree Michigan's got a top 25 defense this year. Let's see what Nebraska does next weekend offensively. I don't care what the score is. Let's see if they can actually move the ball, whether we just run it the entire time, 50 carries, or we decide to throw it. I want to see then, and then I can take an actual estimation of like, okay, this offense just, I'm not saying I don't think their offense is good. I don't, but I feel bad for the defense when you're on the fucking field the entire game, regardless.
I still think we get 3 more wins.
Okay, and that's great. I think we get 2 more. We're right there. And I just don't think we're not playing for a bowl game this year. If Nebraska somehow gets 4 wins, I'll be surprised. It has to start with Illinois then. Has to.
That one we got in with 5 wins. We played UCLA.
I don't count a 5-win season as a bowl game.
Real quick, gentlemen, just to put a pin in this for just a second. Yeah. Congratulations to us. We hit 400 subscribers coming into this podcast. We couldn't do it without all you beautiful sons of bitches. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. Can of corn over there. Let's get back into it here. Talking about you think they're going to win. Either way, I still owe you a jersey, more than likely. Unless Nebraska just comes out and, it could happen. Again, it could happen where they went out the rest of the year. They go 10-2. I know. Is it likely? No, probably not. But
every day.
Let's talk about what are they going to have to do. What's the game plan? But here's the thing, right? Michigan's offense did not wow me today at home against Rutgers. So the real question is going to be, can Nebraska's offense going into next week? I think this sets up like 2021 where it's maybe, what was that game? Like 20-something to like 28 to 24 or something like that. It was like a 1-possession game. That 2021 game.
Our defense is going to have to hold them under 14 points if we want to win.
I don't think Michigan's played anybody. This, to me, is a trap game written all over it.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Listen, I know I haven't. I know, obviously, I was wrong about the NIU prediction last week, and I was wrong about fucking Rutgers today when I called Chris, a little bit buzzed in the morning, talking about how I thought Rutgers was going to beat Michigan. But I'll go on record here. I'll tell you this. I think Nebraska's got a real good shot at upsetting Michigan next week. I mean, think about it. Seriously, Michigan has kind of done the same thing Georgia has. They've kind of come out, they played flat, they played to the level of their competition. They haven't really looked fantastic. The defense, I think, has been pretty good. But again, if you're Heinrich Harburg, I don't see how they start Jeff Sims ever again.
Do you think Nebraska can upset Michigan?
Fuck no.
Well, Chris is going to say no. You're probably going to say no. But do I think they can upset Michigan? Yes, I think just like Conor McGregor. Here's what I'm going to say. I think they have a puncher's chance.
Jersey on that.
Well, I mean, let's not start betting jerseys and shit like that. Now. Well, let's. I mean, listen. I might as well just give you 115.
No way in hell we beat Michigan.
I'm not saying they're going to beat them. I'm just saying it's going to be a little bit closer than what a lot of people think.
Upset and win, beat. There's no way.
Let me ask you a question, Gordon. What would Nebraska have to do to win that game?
Oh, we'd have to defy gravity. We would have to completely revamp our offense and somehow make Anthony Grant run for 10 yards a carry and throw for 300 plus yards, which we won't do. We're not going to win. There's no way. There's no way. And you know me, I'm a Husker fan, but there's just no way. I don't see it. They're going to beat us by 20 plus.
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to beat you by 20 plus.
I do. It hurts to say it, but they're going to whomp us. Our offensive line and their defensive line just completely mismatched all across the board.
I got a question. I'm going to add into this.
Yeah, we'll do this and then we'll jump into Mike's thing here. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I just on this whole Nebraska Michigan game. To me, it's Rutgers was 3-0 today. Rutgers is probably essentially they might be a better team, maybe, than us, whatever you want to call it. They got beat 31-7. They scored the opening touchdown. I mean, I see this being a 34-10 type of game. Personally, I just don't think Nebraska stands a chance as much as I wish they did. I even watching the second half of the Nebraska game, I don't see enough personally offensively. So I agree with Corn on this one. I just don't think, unless something drastic happens and we can throw the ball down the field, I think Michigan's already preparing. Well, they just run the quarterback 20 times a game. Anthony Grant, he's the only running back they got. They're going to focus on that. I mean, you're not scared of any of our receivers. They probably know our defense is halfway decent, I guess. Yeah, I'm on that boat. I hope I'm wrong. I do. I hope this fucking might go ahead.
At the same time, do we have another receiver other than Billy Kemp?
No, not that he can stretch a field. No.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No.
How many catches did he have? 15?
Yeah. He was,
I mean, literally, it's Billy Kemp, Marcus Washington, like on a 5-yard out route, and then Fedoni,
the tight end. Yep.
It's
really weak.
10-2. You're throwing to Billy Kemp 10 times. You're throwing to Fedoni twice.
Yeah.
That shit ain't going to hold up in the Big Ten.
Here's what I think. I mean, honestly, this is. I mean, this is.
Say it.
No, I mean you're not wrong. I think it's Here's where I look at this. Right. I mean, Mike said it best. Right. The not Georgia. I'm looking at Gator Swag talking shit to us here. Defense, right? Like as far as Nebraska's defense, if they can limit Michigan's run game, they can make what's the quarterback for Michigan? McCarthy, JJ McCarthy.
He would have to play. He would have to throw the ball this year, and he's not been very good at it.
Yeah. So if they come out and they stuff Corum and Edwards and all these guys, and they make them one dimensional, like Mike said, which I could see. I could see that happening. I know it sounds crazy to talk about it right now, but if they could do that, then it gives you a shot, right? Here's the other thing too, and this is what I was really trying to get at with it. If Heinrich Harburg started the first 2 games of the season, you guys are probably what, 3-1 at this point?
We probably beat Minnesota just because of the turnover, so I'd say 3-1. We weren't going to beat Colorado,
Right.
so I'd say 3-1. A little more hype behind it, but I would still assume the offense, though. If Jeff Sims didn't turn the ball over and played these last 2 weeks, would we have put up the same amount of points? I don't know, but I'm with you. I know where you're going with this. Yeah, it's very interesting. You said it best. If you said it there, but nobody's been able to stop Corum and Edwards essentially, though. You know what I mean? Like I don't, as much as I love our defense, I don't know if you can contain both those guys and hold Michigan to Nebraska's going to have to hold Michigan to less than 150 yards rushing for them to beat them. I'll say that. I'll put that on air right now on the track. then make McCarthy try to beat you. I'm not sold on McCarthy. I was high on him. He doesn't look any better than he did last year. Christian said that best too. I think he's had like 8 turnovers the last 3 games. He's throwing the ball erratically. He looks kind of lost at times throwing the ball. If Nebraska gets into a game like that, okay. But I just don't know if we can stop. Corum talks about it. Their offensive line is so fucking
if we
dominant.
don't hold them under maximum 17 points on defense, I don't think we have a chance.
Yeah, I don't know if we can score 17 either. I agree. I don't.
Yeah.
But
I don't
Michigan, their running game just works. They block. Our defensive line is good. I think our whole defense is good, but they've been doing it to everybody.
I would say for a moral victory, regardless of what the offense does, if that defense can come out there and hold them to under 30 points, they're going to be they're going to be legit. I mean, obviously that'll just further validate what we already, I guess, kind of know with Nebraska's defense, but that'll kind of validate that a little more. If they can hold them under 30, which I think they will. I think that it'll be. I just think Nebraska is going to come out, and I think they're going to make them one-dimensional. I think that's ultimately what will happen. I think the offense will be a little bit better as far as we know what they're going to do. I mean, Harburg is going to take off. He's going to run the ball on you. And if he gets hurt or banged up against Michigan, let's be honest, Jeff Sims is going to come in. I know a lot of people aren't going to be hyped up about that. Jeff Sims is right. I mean, but I think he's good to rock. So I don't know. I think he's due for a good game. And
yeah. No, I agree with Christian. If we do what you say, Christian, I agree.
It's not happening. There's no way Nebraska can figure out a way to beat Michigan. They're too good.
Yeah, I'll give you.
Do.
I think there's always a way,
but I don't see it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I think it's going to take a monumental effort from the defense, and then the offense is going to have to play their best game times 10.
Do you put a lot of stock? Last question here before we probably wrap it up here. Do you put a lot of stock in the fact that the game is at Nebraska?
No.
Yes and no. Depends on who you're playing.
I'll say this. I'll jump in before you do, Corn. I don't think so because we haven't been that great at home. If this was 15, 20 years ago, yeah. I think the crowd will be really involved in this game, but Nebraska's home record is actually worse than its road record. So I'm just going by the stats.
All we can pray for is a couple false starts, maybe delay games from the crowd. Other than that, sorry.
Right.
It just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
By the way,
go ahead.
Fans of the Cornhuskers here, tickets are as low as $65. So if you're looking for a deal, go ahead and snap those up because I'm assuming those are like nosebleed seats, but still $65 to go watch the Cornhuskers play Michigan, the number 2 team in the country.
Wow.
Chris, let's invest. They were looking for tickets. I'm like, well, you don't got to look hard. Just get on Facebook. People are selling them all around because they think we suck, and we don't.
Well,
we're just mediocre.
That's how it sounded. Well,
we don't suck. We could be 0-3, 0-4, 0-10.
Sounds like you got kicked in the nuts.
He said, we don't suck. And I'm like, well.
He said,
well
let me ask you a question. Does Minnesota suck?
No, they're a solid team.
They're
Average.
god awful.
I think they're like about as average as you can get. Like a 60th rated team in the country. That's what I think.
And they out-average Nebraska.
Thank you.
You know,
So what does that say?
how good are we? We're not that good.
Well, let's just say that I love it. By the way,
We're
fucking
just-
starting something new.
I'm going to use that. That's how it literally sound like that. You had
The fucking primetime game. The primetime game, for whatever reason. Whoever picks the Big Ten matchups, by the way, is a fucking idiot. Who would ever think Minnesota versus Northwestern should be a primetime night game?
I agree.
Yeah, I'd rather watch fucking Desperate Housewives.
Yeah, I'd rather watch.
I think that's what I'm going to go do.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd rather watch Christian try to fucking walk and make it to the mailbox and back without breathing heavy. I don't know why.
I'd rather watch. Jesus Christ! It's like watching gerbils fuck out here. It's just so goddamn boring.
Like two fucking monkeys humping a football in a fucking wool sack.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
When's Mike gonna call in?
Well, that's the thing. He's excited. He's fired up. He went to two. I think he's got another game.
He's going this week. He's going this week.
Yeah. He's going to be part of that crowd that's going to be part of it. So, again, if you're Mike, obviously cheer the Skurs on here to victory, baby. Or at least me saying it's going to be a lot closer than what a lot of people are saying.
I hope you're right.
Let's get after it.
Got to get some more people to call in other than just
I need to get more people. You guys got to help us out here. By the way, spread the word.
I'm not that entertaining. I'm really not.
Well, I think you're pretty entertaining. I mean, I think you're a little behind. I mean, again, last week we were ready to rock and roll. I thought the Huskers were, winning championships back in the 90s again, the way that we were celebrating, and I fucking love it. So I need us to get to that level every single weekend. Yeah, let's get after it.
Yeah, last weekend I think I had about 6 too many beers.
Yeah, you had about 30 too many. But I was wondering if you were still alive for the Sunday show, and we didn't see you. So we're a little worried about you, Corn. I even brought it up on air. I'm like, Corn laying in a road ditch somewhere. Or we didn't know if you were alive.
Man, I tell you what, I had one hell of a hangover when I was shopping.
Yeah, it's all good, bro. It's all good. It happens there. I know where you're from. I get it.
I did too. Having to do that Sunday show at 9 a.m. was god awful. Chris had to carry the team.
Yeah, Christian was pretty
You
rough.
sounded a little different.
Yeah, Christian was pretty low.
I did.
He definitely come on and go, well, he was like, so it was.
I was more like, well.
What's your beverage of choice, Christian?
Oh God! I mean, whatever you got.
Alcohol.
I mean, I had to lay off the Coors Light a little bit here because of Colorado, obviously. But I'm going back into Colorado.
Rocky Mountain piss.
Yeah, I can't drink that shit.
Yeah.
I can't drink. I appreciate it, though. Guys, spread the word. I know it wasn't a big night tonight, but I do appreciate you calling in, Corn. I appreciate it, man. Much love here. Spread the word, though. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow morning, though. So, right, Christian, we're gonna be on. I'll let you carry it out here.
Yep, we'll be back tomorrow at 9. Obviously, tomorrow. So look for us then. Listen, stay classy, San Diego. We'll see you.